Hello and welcome to Paper Play with Julie K. Thank you so much for stopping by and joining me. And today I have a journal to share with you, and this journal is part of a design team project for Tsunami Rose. And again, Tsunami Rose is an online store that sells digital downloads that we can use in our journals and also other paper crafting. And this month, Daisy did send me a Jane Austen Christmas kits to work with, and so that's what I worked with to create a Christmas journal. And before I get going, I wanted to share just a couple ideas for some of the new junk journals out there. If you guys don't want to hear it, just fast forward to where I start going through the actual journal. But I just wanted to give a few little hints and tricks real quick about some of Daisy's kits. And so what I wanted to basically share with you guys is to make sure when you buy the kits that you remember that you, besides leaving them as is, you can shrink them down. And so I did do that with some of the elements that you will find in the journal today. So for instance, here's the postcard, and you get like 4 of these on a page, but I did choose to shrink them down, and so this is the size that you get. And then I like to add eyelash trim behind them, and that makes a really cute embellishment. So like if I had it on a tag or on a page, it just adds a really cute embellishment. And so I did the exact same thing also with some of her tags. I shrunk them down. So here's the original size of the tag, and then here's one that I shrunk down. And again, this would make a really cute little embellishment on another tag or even on the journal. And then the other ones that I also shrunk down was an actual page. So here's like one of Daisy's page. And so I shrunk them down into this size, and so you can use these as journal cards, which is really cool. And what I am actually going to end up doing with this one is I am going to put it on my cover, and I'm going to go around it with some gold trim. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys, what the smaller version was like. So I didn't glue it down yet, but I wanted to show that to you guys. And so then I also did shrink down. These were like big element cards, so they were a lot longer, and I shrunk them down. I don't have one in the original size, but I wanted just to show you guys that I did shrink that one down too. And it's the little to-do list that goes with the Jane Austen Christmas. So I did end up for my journal. Originally I wanted to use this book, and when I started gutting it, the spine wasn't that great, and so what I ended up deciding to do is I just made another cover using chipboard, and I just glued on the covers on the front and back is what I ended up doing. And I added a little bit of this rose trim on the side. I decided to kind of stick with kind of traditional red and green colors for this journal. I do just have a basic kind of seam binding closure, and then I added a whole bunch of this really pretty red trim that has little gold flecks in it kind of throughout, and my mom gifted me that. She found it at the thrift store. This journal does have 3 signatures in it. All of the digital designs in here are Daisy's. I do have a couple elements that might have been left over from my last year's journal or my December daily that I use one of Daisy's kits for. So I did throw some of those in if I didn't use them in my December daily. So right here I have a little flip out that I tied shut. I added a tag, and then this does flip out. I added a spot here to either journal or add a photo on, and so this does flip out several times. So again, I have some of Daisy's elements, but then I left spots to also journal or add a photo on if I wanted to. For this time around, I decided just to use some cream colored paper in the journal instead of dyeing it, just because I think if I'm going to keep it and use it as a December daily, I want to add photos, and I didn't want to worry about the acidity of things. So I just left the cream paper and didn't dye anything in this one. It's a little flip up, and some of the little postcard elements. One of her little big element journal cards. And then throughout the journal, I do have some scrapbooking paper that I just inked the edges and folded up just to use as extra journaling spots. And then some miscellaneous tags from scrapbooking paper. Daisy does have this really nice lined paper for the Jane Austen, and I really love this paper. That's probably one of my favorite things about this, along with these images. But this is really nice for journaling, but I think this one's pretty versatile, that you could use this in a lot of other vintage type themed junk journals, besides just a Jane Austen themed one. Another really pretty image. I just embellished some of them with little die cuts with eyelash trim, and some of them I used those little postcards that I shrunk down and those items. So here's one of those little postcards that I shrunk down. I think this one was from last year's stuff from Daisy, but I do like these things to do lists. It always seems like at Christmas time we always can use those. Another piece that was left over from last year from one of Daisy's kits. I left most of her pages kind of plain. Like I said, I just added little bits and pieces of my own ephemera on them, or rickrack trim. Daisy does have calendars, which I really like these, and so this one I did kind of put kitty wampus, because when I use it I'll just flip my book and write on it. But I do like these. I actually printed off another one just to put in my purse, just to write down dates and important events, just so I can have a little piece of paper without having to carry my planner with me everywhere for Christmas, because it gets so busy this time of year. But this does flip open, and then I have a little pocket here with another piece of her ephemera. I really love how this one, it has vintage feel, but it also has all the traditional red and green colors in it. Just another scrapbooking piece of paper that I added. The middle signature I did end up doing, or the middle piece in the signature, she does have some big element cards, and so you are supposed to cut them in half and then you get two, but I left them together and I just folded them, and so it does hide my strings in the middle. I did leave these empty because what I will do is go ahead and add some of these cards that I showed you at the beginning back into here, but I left them out so I could show you what things look like shrunk down. And then here I have a little belly band with just some more of her journaling cards and postcards. It was a really fun theme to work with the Jane Austen. I know a lot of people really liked her other Jane Austen kit that she had, so it was kind of fun to work with a Christmas themed one. Little pocket that I just stuffed with some more elements. Here I had some Happy Mail that came in a little envelope, and so I just added it here. You can see the back side of the envelope. And then this flips up, and then I just have some scrapbooking paper in there, and then I still have this whole page to journal on. And then on this side, I use that top part of the element as a tuck spot. Again, with just some pieces. Here's one of the bigger pages shrunk down. And I was lucky enough to find some paper doilies that actually had poinsettias on them, because this book is kind of full of like poinsettias and holly. Really pretty. Some more stamping. And then we're on to the second signature. And so what I did in this one, again, there's 3 signatures. So the first signature is decorated and the last signature is decorated. And what I decided to do with my middle signature is just leave it plain. Nothing's been done to it yet other than I added the red trim to it, just so, like I said, if I use it as my December daily this year, I can add stuff easily to it. So I wanted to leave a small section that was blank. So I will go back in and add some stuff to that as I use it. So here's the last signature. I kind of set it up very similar to how I did on the first one with the flip outs and the pockets. Just more of her ephemera and the little postcards. Some more of her pretty lined paper, and then I have a little pocket here, and then you can see on this pocket, again, I did shrink down one of the postcards, and I also added one of the little tags on there. And then last year too, Daisy came out with some little mini folders for Christmas, and I had this one left over from last year, so I just stuck that in there. They just make really cute journaling spots. Last year I actually used them as pages in my December daily. But that, like I said, that one was just extra. Again, here's one of those little tags that I shrunk down. Just use it as a little ephemera piece. But all the images in these kits are gorgeous. It was a really fun one to work with. So here's another one of those envelopes that someone had sent me in Happy Mail, and so I just added one of those postcards that I shrunk down with eyelash trim, and again, it flips out, and I just stuck some scrapbooking tags in there just to journal on or use extra. If I use it as a December daily, I'll probably stick little receipts and little things like that inside those envelopes. Another one of that pretty images on the lined paper. Like I said, I really love the lined paper in these sets. They're definitely going to be able to use them in other journals. So here's the middle of the last signature, and again, I did the same thing. I just glued the sides together to make a pocket. Some more of the postcard ephemera. And then here's one of her big element journal cards. Another little pocket that I created. So here's just a scrapbooking tag that someone had gifted me. And so I can set that there, and then this one goes back there. Then here I have a flip up, so I put one of her big element cards and I flipped it up, and then I made a little pocket, and then I added another piece of the things to do in here. And then I still have all this space to journal on or add a photo. So I will list, again, Daisy's shop information below. I will also list the names of the different kits that I used because she has several different Jane Austen bits and pieces that she sent me to work with. So I will list all those below in the description box so that you guys can find them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. And I think that was almost my last page there. Yep, that's the last page. And so that is my journal, and thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful day, and take care.